Architects of Destiny. 1 month passed with breathtaking speed. The ring station, now dubbed Nexus by Earth authorities, had become the center of human activity beyond the fallen boundary. Dozens of ships arrived daily, bringing scientists, diplomats, and military personnel to study the alien facility and prepare for the promised contact with the collective of elder races. Captain Maya Chen had been promoted to admiral and appointed humanity's interim representative to the collective, a position she had neither sought nor particularly wanted. She stood in Nexus's newly established diplomatic chamber, watching as technicians installed communication equipment and security systems. "We've decoded perhaps 10% of the station's database," Dr. Kaido Nakamura reported, joining her at the viewport. His new title, Chief Sinological Officer, sat as uncomfortably on him as her admiralty did on her. "It's like being given the Library of Alexandria and told we have a week to read it. Focus on the immediate priorities," Maya advised. "First contact protocols, cultural taboos, potential threats." "That's just it," Kaido said, rubbing his temple where his neural implant interfaced with his brain. "The database is comprehensive but selective. It tells us about thousands of species, their homeworlds, technologies, even their art and literature. But information about military capabilities, political disputes, resource conflicts, that's all conspicuously absent." Maya frowned. "They're showing us the neighborhood at its best, not its reality." "Exactly. It's like..." He was interrupted by an alert from the station's sensors. Lieutenant Commander Aiden Rodriguez, formerly of the Pathfinder and now Nexus's operations chief, called from his station. "Admiral, we're detecting spatial distortions at coordinates 227 by 84. Configuration matches nothing in our database or the collective archives we've accessed." Maya moved quickly to the command center, Kaido following. The main display showed a section of space approximately 1 light hour from Nexus, where, moments before, there had been empty vacuum. Now, reality itself seemed to fold inward, creating a spiraling tunnel of distorted space-time. "It's some form of FTL arrival," Kaido said, studying the readings, "but unlike anything we theorized." "Alert Sol Gov Command," Maya ordered. "All personnel to standby stations. This may be our welcoming committee." The spatial distortion stabilized into a swirling vortex, and from its center emerged a vessel of breathtaking design. It resembled nothing so much as a massive sea creature, organic curves and flowing lines that pulsed with internal light. Behind it came 2 smaller craft of entirely different design, one a geometric arrangement of crystalline structures, the other a perfect sphere of what appeared to be liquid metal. 3 distinct architectural styles, Kaido noted, possibly 3 different species. "We're receiving a transmission," Aiden reported. "It's being broadcast on all frequencies, and..." He hesitated, checking his readings, "directly into our neural patterns, some kind of advanced telepathic technology." Maya straightened her uniform. "Put it through." The command center screens flickered, then displayed a chamber aboard the organic-looking vessel. 3 beings stood in a triangular formation, each as different from the others as their ships were. The central figure resembled a humanoid made of living crystal, light pulsing through its transparent body in complex patterns. To its right stood a being composed of what looked like liquid mercury, constantly shifting yet maintaining a generally bitable form. The third was the most alien, a cloud of luminescent particles that coalesced into an approximation of a face when it spoke. "Greetings, representatives of Earth," the crystal being said, its voice resonating not through the speakers but directly in their minds. "I am Sentinel of the Crystalline Concord. With me are Flux of the Metamorphs and Collective of the Myriad. We come as representatives of the collective of elder races to formally welcome humanity to the greater galactic community." Maya stepped forward. "On behalf of Earth and all human colonies, I am Admiral Chen. We are honored by your presence and look forward to peaceful relations with the collective." The mercury-like being, Flux, rippled in what might have been amusement. Formalities are unnecessary, Admiral. We have been observing your species for centuries. Your potential is remarkable, though your development has been uneven. There was something in the tone, condescending, almost dismissive, that raised Maya's hackles. But before she could respond, Kaido stepped forward. "If you've been observing us so long," he asked, "why contain us behind the boundary?" The architect's message indicated it was for our protection, but there must have been other options. The particle cloud, collective, pulsed with changing colors. The boundary served multiple purposes. Protection was one. Observation was another. Assessment was a third. Assessment, Maya echoed. All emerging species must be evaluated before full integration into the collective, Sentinel explained. The boundary provided a controlled environment to monitor your development. To see if we were worth saving, Maya said flatly. Flux's mercury form rippled again. To see if you were dangerous. Many young species destroy themselves before reaching the stars. Others pose threats to their neighbors once they expand beyond their cradle worlds. "And what was your verdict?" Kaido asked. The three aliens exchanged what might have been glances, though with their alien physiologies, it was hard to be certain. Undetermined, Sentinel finally said, "Your species shows anomalies, patterns that do not fit our established models." "What kind of anomalies?" Maya pressed. "Your technological development has been remarkably rapid. Collective's cloud of particles formed patterns that somehow conveyed thoughtfulness, yet uneven. Advanced in some areas, primitive in others. Your social structures are similarly perplexing. We particularly note your capacity for both extreme violence and extreme compassion," Flux added, "often within the same individual." "We're complex," Maya said simply. "All sentient species must be." "Not to this degree," Sentinel countered. "Most species develop along predictable lines. Yours does not." The conversation was interrupted by a new alert. Aiden checked his console, his expression darkening. "Admiral, we have a situation. Sol Gov military forces have intercepted an unidentified vessel near Mars. They're demanding immediate intervention." Maya turned back to the alien representatives. "If you'll excuse me, there appears to be a situation that requires my attention." "We will accompany you," Sentinel said, in a tone that suggested it wasn't a request. "This may relate to our discussion." The situation at Mars was even worse than Maya had feared. A Sol Gov military cruiser, the Dauntless, had opened fire on what appeared to be another alien vessel, one not affiliated with the three representatives of the collective. What the hell were they thinking? Maya muttered as they watched the tactical display. The alien ship had taken damage, but was still operational, now maintaining a defensive posture. "The vessel is Drakari," Sentinel explained, crystal form glinting under the command center lights. "Not members of the collective. They are opportunists." "Pirates?" Kaido asked. "Explorers with flexible ethics," Flux replied. "They often follow the opening of boundaries, seeking advantage from newly emerged species. The Dauntless reports they detected weapons charging and fired preemptively," Aiden said, checking incoming transmissions. Maya closed her eyes briefly. "Fools. They've just initiated humanity's first interstellar conflict." "Not necessarily," Collective pulsed thoughtfully. "The Drakari respect strength. A demonstration of resolve followed by a diplomatic overture might salvage this situation." Maya considered this, then made her decision. Open a channel to both vessels. When the connection was established, she spoke clearly and firmly. "This is Admiral Maya Chen of Earth, to the Drakari vessel. We apologize for the misunderstanding but will defend our territory if threatened. We invite you to join us at Nexus Station for diplomatic discussions. To the Dauntless, stand down immediately and maintain position. Any further aggressive action will be considered an act of treason against unified humanity." There was a tense silence. Then the Drakari ship, a sleek, predatory-looking craft with angular protrusions, adjusted its posture, weapons powering down. "We accept your invitation, Earth Admiral," came a gravelly voice over the comm. "The Drakari appreciate directness. We will follow you to your nexus." As the crisis temporarily diffused, Maya turned back to the three representatives. "You said we show anomalies. Is this what you meant? Our unpredictability?" "Partly," Sentinel acknowledged. "But there is more. When we first detected your quantum folding experiments, our models predicted a 99.8% chance of catastrophic failure, resulting in the destruction of your solar system. Yet you came remarkably close to success. The boundary was initially established as a quarantine," Flux continued, "but as we observed your continued development, we realized something unexpected was occurring. Your species possesses a quality we have not encountered before." "What quality?" Kaido asked. Collective's particles formed an approximation of a shrug. "We have no word for it in your language. The closest translation would be reality resonance. Humans," Sentinel explained, "appear to have an unconscious ability to harmonize with the fundamental frequencies of space-time itself. It manifests in your physics, your mathematics, even your art and music. It is why your FTL attempts nearly succeeded despite your limited technology. It is why you were able to breach the boundary using resonance when our models predicted failure." Maya processed this. "You're saying we have some kind of intuitive connection to the universe? That sounds like mysticism, not science. To less advanced civilizations, advanced science often appears as mysticism." Flux rippled in what might have been amusement. "The distinction becomes meaningless at certain levels of understanding." "This is why you interest us," Sentinel continued. "This ability has significant implications for the balance of the galactic community. It could be beneficial or catastrophic." Before Maya could respond, a new alert sounded. This one was different. A deep, resonating tone that seemed to vibrate through the station itself. "What is that?" Maya demanded as the alien representatives suddenly tensed. "Perimeter breach," Sentinel said, crystal form pulsing rapidly with internal light. "Something is coming through from the void between galaxies." The main display shifted to show a vast section of space near the former boundary's edge. A massive distortion was forming, far larger than the arrival portals of the collective ships. From within emerged a shape that defied easy description. A writhing mass of darkness that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it, stretching across thousands of kilometers of space. "The harvesters," Flux said, mercury form rippling with what could only be alarm. "They've found this sector." "What are they?" Kaido asked, staring at the horrifying spectacle. "Not they. It." Collective's particles contracted in what might have been fear. "A singular entity that spans between galaxies. It consumes energy in all forms, stellar, technological, biological. It is drawn to advanced civilizations, particularly those experimenting with fundamental forces. Like our quantum folding experiments," Maya said, the implications becoming clear. "The boundary wasn't just to protect us from ourselves. It was to hide us from that thing." "Precisely," Sentinel confirmed. "The boundary masked all energy signatures within its sphere, but now that it's down." "We've been detected," Kaido finished. Maya studied the tactical display, watching as the entity continued to emerge from its portal. "How do we fight it?" The three representatives exchanged what might have been glances again. "We don't," Flux said simply. "The collective races retreat when the harvester appears. It is why we are scattered across many sectors, rather than unified in one region. We abandon affected systems and establish new boundaries elsewhere." "You run," Maya said, incredulous. "How many civilizations have you sacrificed this way?" "It is regrettable but necessary for survival," Sentinel replied. "The entity is beyond our capacity to defeat." Maya looked at the display again, thinking rapidly. "You said humans have this reality resonance, an ability to harmonize with space-time itself. Could that be used against this thing?" The aliens fell silent, considering. "Theoretically," Collective finally answered, but it would require a coordinated effort on a scale your species has never achieved, using technology you haven't developed. But it's possible, Maya pressed. Yes, Sentinel admitted. If you could generate a resonance field similar to the boundary, but inverted, pushing outward rather than containing, it might disrupt the harvester's connection to this spacetime. But the energy requirements would be enormous, and the calculations precise beyond your capability. Maya turned to Kaido, a plan already forming. The station's power core. Could it be modified to generate such a field? Kaido considered, neural implant flickering as he processed the information from the station's database they'd already decoded. Possibly, if we linked it with the power cores of all the human vessels currently at Nexus, and if we could solve the mathematics. Which we can't, Sentinel interjected. The calculations would require. You said it yourself, Maya interrupted. Humans have an intuitive connection to the fundamental frequencies of the universe. We nearly succeeded at FTL when your model said we would fail. We breached the boundary when you thought it impossible. She straightened. Decision made. We're not running. This is our home, and we're going to defend it. The next 12 hours were the most intense of Maya's life. Every human ship at Nexus contributed its power systems to the hastily constructed resonance generator. Scientists and engineers worked feverishly, guided by the station's database and their own intuition when established physics failed them. The three representatives of the collective observed with what seemed like a mixture of skepticism and fascination. The Drakari, upon learning of the threat, offered their own ship's unusual power systems to the effort, apparently deciding that potential profit from a new species outweighed the risk of helping. The entity will reach Earth's solar system in approximately 3 hours, Kaido reported, looking exhausted but determined. The resonance generator is at 87% capacity. Will it be enough? Maya asked. According to conventional physics. No, he replied with a grim smile. But we left conventional physics behind when we breached the boundary. Maya nodded, then addressed the gathered representatives and her human crew. When the harvester reaches the optimal position, we'll activate the generator. If our calculations are correct, the resonance field will disrupt its connection to our spacetime, forcing it back to the void between galaxies. And if your calculations are incorrect? Flux asked. Then humanity will have tried, Maya said simply, which seems to be more than the collective has done in millennia of running. As the final preparations were made, Sentinel approached Maya privately. Your species continues to surprise us, Admiral. Few races would stand against the harvester, especially on their first day among the stars. Maybe that's why it's still a threat, Maya replied. No one's been willing to find out if it can be stopped. Perhaps, the crystal being conceded, or perhaps you possess something truly unique. We shall see. The countdown to the harvester's arrival continued relentlessly. All non-essential personnel were evacuated from Nexus, leaving only the technical team necessary to operate the resonance generator and a skeleton command crew. 1 hour to optimal position, Aiden reported, manning the tactical station. Maya took her place at the command station, Kaido beside her monitoring the generator status. The representatives of the collective and the Drakari captain remained as observers, or perhaps as witnesses. All systems ready, Kaido confirmed. Power levels stable. Resonance frequencies calibrated. The minutes ticked by intense silence. On the main display, the harvester continued its inexorable approach, a vast, devouring darkness that seemed to distort everything around it. 15 minutes to optimal position, Aiden announced. Maya felt a strange calm descend over her. Whatever happened next would determine humanity's place in the cosmos, not as protected children behind a boundary, but as equals among the stars.